One of the most commonly asked questions, specifically from newer weavers, from less experienced weavers, but certainly not only from less experienced weavers, is why is the fell line of my weaving not straight? It's just not straight. If I bring my heddle down, and I bring my heddle down in a straight line, you can see, just move that up a bit, you can see that I have almost a centimeter's difference between the left-hand side and the right-hand side. Now, why does this happen? Some people will tell you that it's nothing terribly much to worry about because most of us are stronger on one side than we are on the other side. And sometimes that is the case, but it is by no means always the case. More often than not, what you'll find is that your warp tension is not even. And if your warp is tighter on one side than on the other side, then the side which is tighter, and it only needs to be infinitesimally tighter, it's a wonderful word, the side, okay, that was a bit of a digression. The side of your warp which is tighter is going to beat down more than the side of your warp which is looser. In my case, here on this particular warp, I have a very strong reason for that. And if you look at my back roller, you can see that I have warp ends that have fallen off the bundle. So if you think about it, my separators are in place, and I've used a lot of separators here, and they are the full width of my loom. So that at least we know is okay. What has actually happened here is that even with the separators in place, this little bundle of threads has kind of just fallen off the bundle that is on the separators. And that's causing a discrepancy in my tension here, which is why my weaving is crooked. Now, there's not terribly much that you can do about this. If you are very close to the beginning of your weaving, my recommendation would be that you undo what you've done and you take everything out, just wind the warp forward until you get to the source of your problem, and then wind it back onto the back roller and then retension your warp and start again. If you're quite a way into your weaving, you actually can't do that. And there's not terribly much that you can do about this. If you find that your warp is getting really very, very sloppy on this side, then you might want to just make a leash, that, hang it over the back of your loom and hang a weight on it. It's not my best thing to do that because it actually pulls the side of your weaving up even more for a while. I'm going to just continue as I am here with this because I can see that actually that fall off has happened on the next rotation of the roller. So it's going to rectify itself. So if you see that your warp is moving off center and it's really worrying you and you can't do anything about it, just check how much weaving you still have to do before you find that those threads are going to be back in the correct place. And just for the duration, for the next few rows that you're going to weave, just get my correct shuttle here, you can actually compensate a tiny little bit every pick on the right hand side of your weaving and even it up. Now, I'm not going to try and compensate for the entire thing in one pick. I'm going to take 3 or 4 picks to actually just even that out. If I were really close to the beginning of my weaving, then certainly it would be worth undoing, winding the warp off a little bit and rewinding the warp before retensioning the warp. But from my point of view, and because actually the discrepancy is not enormous here, I'm very simply going to compensate on my selvage side, and within 2 or 3 picks I will be back to normal. That space that I've created on the side there, look, it's always going to be a little bit visible, but when this comes off the loom and it's no longer under tension, and once it's been washed, that space will close up significantly. So it doesn't always have to be a train smash. If you can fix it, I suggest that you do. If you can't fix it and you are going to continue weaving, then you can compensate for it and just keep an eye on any discrepancies that might have happened while you were warping. Don't feel bad about getting a crooked fell line. It happens to all of us, not only to beginners, and it's not always a case of one side of our bodies being stronger than the other. If this little tip helped you, I'd love it if you gave me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, that would be fantastic. You can find more Weaverly tips and tricks on my Patreon page. The link for the Patreon page and for my website is just beneath the banner. And I'll see you next week with another tip to help you become a better weaver.